What's happening, people? I'm back with another reaction, and now we are actually back to finish the We Save Us playlist. Once again, thank you to Kim for compiling the playlist. Thank you to Yvonne and Michaela, who provided additional tunes, and in fact, this is one of the additional tunes Yvonne supplied. But yes, I thought I had finished the playlist last night, but then I noticed in my YouTube playlist that I've created for it, and again, if you haven't seen, Kim provided a really nice description and explanation of the playlist, which I've put in the playlist description. But yes, I noticed there were 17 tracks in the YouTube playlist, and I remembered that after I added the two from Michaela, there were 18 in the folder. So I think I realized what happened. This was one that Yvonne supplied, and as such, it wasn't one of the ones that Kim had written out notes for and applied Tears for Fears quotes to. It was shown below in the three that Yvonne added. So I think when I was going through a batch of them a few days ago, I ended up jumping over this tune because I was playing off of Kim's notes. So in any case, we are here to formally finish the We Save Us playlist, and thank you to all those who've taken an interest and followed along over the last week and a half or so. But yes, we're going to listen to Love and Rockets. I don't think I've ever heard of them as a group. Nevertheless, we're going to listen to Ball of Confusion. What is the subtitle? It's like, That's the Way the World Is Today? Yeah, That's What the World Is Today. So I know a bit about this tune because I've reacted to Duran Duran's cover of this a couple of years ago. And I'm a big Motown guy, and I certainly enjoy The Temptations. Get Ready, I think, it's one of the classic Motown tunes. My Girl, they're all great songs, but I wasn't familiar with Ball of Confusion from them. So when I did the Duran reaction, I wasn't aware it was a cover. Now, everyone obviously explained and provided insight, and that was very interesting to me, and I suppose I should have come back and reacted to the Temptations track. I should have sought it out, found it, and reacted to it, but I never did that. Maybe that's something I can still do in the coming weeks. But because of that, and because of the specificity of the title, it's not a common phrase, so Ball of Confusion, the moment I saw this, it's like, wait, this has to be the Temptations song covered by a different group. So in that regard, I'm curious to hear what they do with it. The Duran version, it's got heavy wicked bass from JT, so I wonder if this will have a heavy low end as well, or if they just take it in a totally different direction. Either way, I'm guessing both of them are notably different from the Temptations original. So in any case, let's give it a listen. This is Ball of Confusion, and I don't know if this cover features the subtitle That's What the World Is Today, but in any case, this is a Temptations cover, and it's by Love and Rockets.
That's what the world is today. Hey, hey. All of confusion. That's what the world is today. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
We're the only
Hey, hey, what confusion. That's what the world is today. Hey, 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 hey. And the band played on, and the band played on, and the band played on, and the band played for confusion. That's what the world is today. Hey, 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 for confusion. That's what the world is today. Hey, hey, for confusion, for confusion. That's what the world is today. Hey, hey. For confusion, that's what the world is today. Hey, hey.
So yeah, there are a couple glitches in the last like minute or so of the file. It's interesting though, there was like a tiny one before the most noticeable one, and I was like, was I imagining that? Like as a DJ, you're very sensitive because again, as a vinyl DJ, there could be little blips where like, it's technically a skip, but it changes the timing so slightly that if you're attuned to it, you can immediately adjust the other record or even the record that did skip a little bit, and get away with it, or no one's really the wiser. So like I heard it, it was like, wait, did that skip a little bit? And then it obviously skipped like a full second or something. There were a couple quick skips there, but by and large, it was like right at the very end of the tune, and it still played the rest of the track. It's not like it was a impassable skip, which is to say, on some vinyl, you'll get a skip where like literally your stylus, your needle, if you will, can't get past it because it's such a a distortion of like the way the groove is supposed to go. So it wasn't like that. In any case, I didn't say this when I did the Duran reaction because I wasn't aware it was a cover, but clearly later in time, because I think the Temptations original is 1970. And as most of the stuff I know from them is like early 60s, like 60s Motown. So clearly they got a bit more, let's say, world conscious, or willing to address more serious issues. Not that love and those types of things aren't serious, but yeah, it feels like this one is a bit more like world conscious, like social issues conscious than anything I've heard from them. So part of the reason why I should go back and react to the original. Nevertheless, this one, it has a similar vibe to the Duran tune, maybe slightly less dark, but definitely, still that kind of wicked bass at the lower end of the tune, some percussive rhythms like that little slide, like wood rhythm, and yeah, definitely, a stripped down, it's like relatively minimal in the arrangement. It's not like a super dense tune, but it's got repetition, it's got intensity, even if it is relatively minimal, and it's very effective, and I enjoy the way, some of the lines, they're hit in a very, like, fast-paced syllabic manner. And again, I totally understand why this tune was included in the playlist. So shout out to Yvonne and shout out to Kim for, finding a way to integrate it in the larger flow of the tunes. Because again, it's addressing how, unemployment can be rising, politicians are promising things that they either can't live up to or don't even really intend to do, the way that like social, economic, cultural prejudices affect people's everyday lives, the way that, conflicts and difficulties, they're going to be coming, they're happening now, we've gotten through some, and through all of it, the band plays on, the beat goes on. So again, somewhere between the like, unpleasant, difficult aspects of songs that have characterized this playlist, but saying that, again, music and, finding a beat, whether that's literally a beat or sort of a way to, get through things with the help of the rhythms of friends and family and people who, have similar attitudes and feelings about things, and indeed music and bands themselves, I feel like this really does fit nicely, and it's sort of like in a second third of the playlist leading into the final third of the playlist, which I think is like where Kim put it, roughly like halfway through. So yes, ultimately, this is, I think, very cool cover, even if I haven't heard the original. And again, in the next few weeks, I'll try to track down the original and do a reaction to it. But yes, I enjoy the intensity. There was a moment early on where I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of like an NXS tune. It's got a bit of funkiness to it, but it's also a bit. There's an intensity to it. In the end, it didn't have some of the like bluesy and like funky sounds and the like new wave meets like funk and blues that I've heard in a lot of NXS tunes, but there was a moment in the first minute or two where that's what I was feeling. But yes, a cool version. Once again, thank you to the folks who followed this We Save Us playlist. Thank you to Kim, thank you to Yvonne, thank you to Michaela, and I'm looking forward to not only continuing on with bands and music and the enjoyment and enrichment that we can all feel in this playlist, but in months and years to come. So hopefully you're up for it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.